Okay, this episode is about heating and cooling your RV or travel trailer or van or whatever. But specifically more travel trailers. That's what I have. I have a 22-foot travel trailer. The biggest culprit in these travel trailers is they put over the stove a vent and a fan and everything, and there is just a ton of air going in and out of your RV through the stove vent. So I removed mine. Mine used to come down like way down here. Okay, so you didn't have any of that usable space that you see there. So I removed it and I plugged up the big hole, just using a simple thing, piece of plywood. There was a huge hole here and going to the outside of the trailer. And anytime it was windy or anything, there was just a ton of air going back and forth between the inside to the outside. So I recommend removing the whole vent, which, like I say, came way down here. And now I put in some pot holders. I also put in an LED, 12 volt LED light with a switch up here. So it illuminates the cooking area really good. Now I had a 3-burner stove and I had no countertop. Just the sink and a 3-burner stove. And I decided to make this tile countertop and cover up the 2 burners that were here and a couple of controls down here. And now I've got loads of, space for, preparing your meals and everything else. And also there was one light up here too that came with the trailer. I got conned into believing these tiny little LEDs to replace all of my my lights in my RV. I've got like 10 of those, and I replaced them with these rinky-dink little LEDs. And granted, they only draw maybe a 1/10 what the incandescent bulbs were drawn that were up in there, but you can't see anything with these LEDs. So it's like being under candlelight, and you want bright lights in your cooking area because you're cutting meats and all kinds of vegetables and stuff like that. So not only did I put the bulbs back in to all of my ceiling lights, took out those LEDs, but I also added this big bulb here, big 12 volt LED bulbs. Also in the bathroom I did the same thing, and also my workstation, where you're typing and stuff, you need bright light. You can't get by with these things. They're, it's like lighting a candle. And you're not going to draw much power with these little bulbs. You don't have to worry about draining your batteries and stuff like that. So there was a big con going out there, and luckily they didn't cost much, these little rinky-dink things. But I recommend don't replace them all. But anyway, and your countertop, but you can make it semi-permanent. I just have 2 screws holding it in, or you could make it just removable, where you pull this up if you need all 3 burners. I cook stews and stuff like that, and I just need 1 burner, so I got it in there nice and tight, so while I'm traveling it stays in place. So okay, and like I said, this is the biggest culprit of you transferring your heat or cold inside to the outside. So I took off the roof, the vent, stove vent, put some insulation in that big huge hole that's there, and covered it over. You don't need it. It's just that it's required for RV dealers or people that are making actually the RVs to have those in. It's required by code. They put them in, just like in the houses. But you don't need that. You could leave your screen door open if you need to, or you got roof vents. But I did transfer the fan over here just in case, that I took out of the vent. just, you know, right there. But now I opened up this whole area. I got lighting now. I've got places to put my cooking utilities and everything else. So, okay, let me go into insulating your RV. I replaced all my windows, or installed Reflectix. And you can get that at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's an insulator if you use 2 layers of it. One layer is just an R1 value. Look, here's my front window here, which I usually leave open because I need at least one window to look out. But that's only an R1 value. It's kind of like what people put in their front windshield in their cars and stuff. That'll reflect the sun from getting in, but it doesn't insulate. So you got to put 2 layers. And what I did on all the other windows, I put strips, thin strips, glued them on, of just thin strips of wood. And then you cut out another piece of this, and that gives it, you go around the perimeter and stuff with tape, and it holds 2 layers. You want 2 layers because then it goes from R1 to an R10. Because you need an air pocket from the front of this to another layer to the back. And I recommend putting them all, you know, I did all my windows, but I, you know, installed them on the inside of the RV. You know, just RVs just have too many windows. They're good if you're camping like in the perfect temperature. You know, it's only dropping down the 50s at night and stuff, and it's in the 70s or 80s during the day. But if you're camping out in the desert where it gets over 100 degrees every day, you're going to want this Reflectix, and it was only like 25 bucks for a roll. And I did every window, 2 layers of that for just 25 bucks. Okay. Now that insulates in the cold weather, all your windows, because RVs typically are only 1 inch thick, the walls, and they put a 1/2 inch styrofoam in between the walls, so there's almost no insulation. In the curved surfaces of the roof, they'll put in some fiberglass insulation, but they're not really insulated. So that's good for keeping the cold in if you got an air conditioner going, or you know, the Reflectix in your windows, or keeping the heat out. You know, if you're experiencing super hot temperatures like me, because I'm out in the deserts here in Arizona, and it gets over 120 degrees in the shade by May or June, super hot. And then I installed the 5,000 BTU.